Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be covering my first trimester essentials. If you've been following my channel for a while, you know that I had a very difficult first trimester. I had a lot of struggles, so I just have a few things that I found really helpful. Hopefully if you are in your first trimester or hoping to be in your first trimester soon, these will be some things that can help you out. So the first thing might be a little bit obvious, but the very first symptom that I had that was like uncomfortable was I was having a lot of cramping, and it kind of just felt like menstrual cramps, but they were 24/7. So the only thing that helped me with that was drinking a ton of water. Anytime I felt like cramping, I would chug literally like 8 ounces of water and the cramping would go away. So I remember I flew out to see family the first week I had found out that we were expecting, and that whole time I just had like a cup attached to my hand and I was drinking water because I was cramping, especially like when I would sit down or get up. Water helped so much. So this is definitely your first essential. The next few essentials that I have are mostly nausea focused because I struggled extremely badly with morning sickness and nausea. I was pretty much nauseous 24/7 for the first 12 or 13 weeks of pregnancy. It was the worst feeling in the world. I literally felt like a zombie. I did not feel like myself because I was just so nauseous. So these are some of the things that helped with that. The first thing that helped was something that I don't actually have on me. They are the sugar-free Jolly Ranchers. I would bring those because the motion sickness and the nausea from driving in the car would get really bad. I've always had motion sickness driving in the car, but it was even more pronounced in the first trimester, so I would suck on those when I was driving, and that helped a ton. And then also in between meals, I would sometimes chew or suck on a Jolly Rancher just because it had something to just distract you from that queasy feeling in your stomach. So those are really helpful. So the next things that were extremely helpful for me are these two things, which is Unisum, which is honestly, it's just a sleep aid. It's doxylamine succinate. Don't know if I'm saying that right, but you can get that at generic, cheaper. But Unisum and B6 together have been proven to reduce nausea in pregnant women, and I have got to say these are honestly the only things that made me feel human. Like, I was struggling and just trying to get through on my own for like 6 weeks, and then finally Christina ratted on me to the doctor, and she's like you can take these, like they're not prescription medicines, they're completely safe. So I did. I would take them morning and night, and they helped so much. So if you're struggling with it, don't try to be brave, don't try to push through it. I know we all try to be like medication free as much as possible, but when it increases your quality of life, it's worth it. I will say, taking the Unisum, which is a sleep aid, twice a day, already I was dealing with pregnancy fatigue, and that just made it like 10 times worse. So you are very tired all the time because you're taking a sleep medicine in the morning. But I would prefer that over the nausea. So these two are honestly my top 2 things for pregnancy essentials in the first trimester. To go along with the nausea, things that helped me, crackers. I have graham crackers, I had Ritz crackers, I had saltine crackers, plain cereals, toast, literally anything like plain carbohydrates would help a lot with it. I could not stomach eating normal foods. I think for those 3 months I honestly didn't eat any protein, any fat. It was just straight carbs, and I just could not eat very much in a day. I only gained 1 or 2 pounds in the first trimester, and those were like in the last 2 weeks. Like, I gained nothing, and then I think when I was 12 weeks I gained a couple pounds, just because I could not stomach to eat anything. So these definitely have on hand because you only want plain things. Also, Pop-Tarts can help too, which taste a little bit better. The next thing that really helped me in the first trimester, which seems kind of dumb, it's not really an item, but it was taking naps. I would take 2-hour naps almost every single day, and I needed them. Like, the pregnancy fatigue is real, and it's something you can't work through. You can't just like push through it and be like, oh, I'll be, you know, I'm fine, I'm just gonna push through and get this done. No, you can't function through it. I couldn't cook, I couldn't clean, I couldn't do laundry, I couldn't like hardly drive home from work without falling asleep because it just, you're so exhausted. And so I would take 2-hour naps as soon as I got home from work. I would get up, I would eat a Pop-Tart or some crackers or cereal, and then I would go back to bed. So definitely don't try and tough it out. Like if you're feeling tired, like you're not gonna be in your first trimester forever. Just allow yourself to relax and don't make yourself feel guilty. I always felt so guilty because I wasn't like helping out around the house, but your partner or whoever you live with can make do for a few weeks until you're out of that first trimester. It's hard, you're not alone. It's completely normal to not feel yourself, and just take those naps. Enjoy those naps, girl. Another thing, which this is one of my favorite essentials, is that we decided, I know it's not for everyone, we decided to get a heart rate Doppler, a fetal Doppler. It's very like controversial and people don't always agree that you should get one. Like I know my family kind of warned me that it could increase anxiety if you can't find the heart rate, and that some people freak out. You just kind of have to like know your own personality when it comes to that. But for me, because you obviously aren't feeling the baby move at that point, this was so useful after the baby was like 8 or 9 weeks. I think it might have been even 9 or 10 weeks before we started using it, but it's amazing to have that peace of mind and be able to check in on the baby and know that they're okay. And it's just, I think it's necessary. I don't think everyone needs it. I think that if you're an anxious person, it probably isn't the best for you, because when they're that small, sometimes you don't find the heart rate. I was fortunate and I never couldn't find it. Like whenever I would check, I would be able to find it, but I would also be really patient. Sometimes I would look for the heart rate for like 5 to 10 minutes before I would find it. And it just calmed my mind a lot, because I was worried, you know, about miscarriage rates, and this just gave me that peace of mind. And it's fun to listen in because you can't feel them yet, and eventually you can start hearing them moving around. Like it makes swooshing sounds when you're on them, and it's just really fun. And it's honestly like a good way for your partner to connect as well, because Christina would do it and try to find the heart rate for me, and it's a great thing to use. Obviously it's not for everyone, but I recommend it for those that are debating it and those that will be patient to find it. Another symptom that I really struggled with in the first trimester was my heightened sense of smell. If you don't know, we have 2 dogs and a cat, which the cat doesn't smell, but the 2 dogs, I would come home and the house just smelled so bad. Like it smelled like dander and dog sweat and dog pee, and the house reeked to me. Like there would be some days I would not get out of my car and I would just sit there and be like, I don't want to go inside. Like it was awful, and I'm not exaggerating. Like we cleaned the carpets ourselves, and then we paid to have them cleaned because it was just that bad. One of the things that helped a little bit, I would say maybe like 15 to 20%, was essential oils. Candles were really, and even still are for me, very chemically, and I don't really like them. They're too strong right now because my sense of smell is so strong. And these are a little bit more natural, so I would diffuse things like grapefruit with tea tree oil, because tea tree oil is supposed to purify the air, and then the grapefruit would just smell good, because I don't really like the smell of tea tree by itself. Lavender at night is a really good one to kind of help your room. And then I have this pre-mixed one that's a detox, and these were just great to put on. I did actually make like a DIY spray with baking soda and the lemon and orange, but after I used that a few times, I started like associating that smell with dog smell, and it just did not work for me anymore. So it's really just up to your preference, and you kind of have to play around with it until you find combinations that work for you. Okay, another thing that I kind of made a habit from, I don't know, like 7 or 8 weeks, was I was using this Burt's Bees body butter and Mama Bee nourishing body oil with vitamin E. I would get like a scoop of this and put like a drop or 2 of the oil in it, and then I would rub it all on, and I was doing that every time I showered. It wasn't necessarily every day, but like I was showering probably every other day or every 2 days. So let me tell you, when you're that tired, you do not care about showering. But I would put those on. However, kind of like I told you with the essential oils, the citrusy smell kind of started to bother me alongside the dog smells, so I ended up switching at the beginning of the second trimester to this Palmer's cocoa butter formula. It's just the stretch mark lotion, and then if I wanted a scented one, I have the tummy butter. I like this one because it's not scented and it's really thick compared to the Burt's Bees ones, and I like it because I feel like it stays in my skin a little longer and it's not quite as oily. This one, however, this is like if you're going to the beach and you need like massive hydration because you're gonna be in the salt water, or like you're in the dead of winter and the humidity level in your house is like 20%. This stuff will stay on your body all day, every day. It's super thick. It does smell pretty good. It smells like summer. I don't honestly use this one that much because it is so thick, but I use this religiously every day, sometimes twice a day, because it just feels good. Your skin's itchy, especially in the first trimester. My chest size grew like 2 or 3 cups, and so I would put this on, or the Burt's Bees, all the time because it helps soothe some of that itching feeling from your skin just growing so quickly. But these I definitely recommend. Okay guys, the last essential that I have for you might seem kind of obvious, but not everybody knows. So when you're pregnant, it's really important to take a prenatal, and then a lot of doctors recommend a folic acid. Folic acid is good because it helps with the, I don't know the terminology, but it's like the neurostem development, and that they can only get folic acid from you for the first 12 weeks. So I was actually taking this even before I got pregnant so that I had a supply of it for the baby to work off of once I did get pregnant. So I stopped taking this at 12 weeks, but it's definitely a first trimester essential. Make that baby's brain develop, and then obviously the prenatal I'm still taking. I just use the, it says it's the Prenatal Plus multivitamin from AvCare. I just use what my doctor prescribes to me because my insurance, these are paid for, so I got them for free. So I just take that, and then the folic acid, both you can get over the counter, or you can ask your doctor for recommendations. I know there's a lot of controversy out there about which prenatals are better. I've had no issues with these. I took them for about a year before getting pregnant, and I had great hair growth. You can definitely tell a difference when you're on the prenatal. And the folic acid is just for the baby. But that's it for this video, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any other questions about the first trimester, or you want to share your experience, please leave it in the comments, and I will be back soon with a new video.